Yom Tov, good day. This is Messianic Moment Ministries. I'm Stephen Bruck, and I thank you for being here. Today we're doing the parsha called Korach, which is the story of the rebellion of Korach, Dathan, and Abiram. And it's pretty well known, even to those who are not really very well versed in the Bible. Essentially, we have Korach, who was a Levite, along with Abiram and Dathan, who were Reubenites, plotting against Moses and Aaron, and also having seduced some 250 of the tribal leaders to follow them in this rebellion. Moses' authority as God's representative was challenged, as was Aaron's, and God took care of this rebellion by first getting rid of the rebel leaders. He had the ground open up and swallow the families and all possessions of Korach, Abiram, and Dathan. And then he had fire come forth from the tent of meeting to totally consume the 250 men that were following them. Next, to silence the people who now blamed Moses and Aaron for these deaths, God had each tribal leader, including Aaron, place their staffs in the tent of meeting. And the next day, the only one that budded was Aaron's. In fact, not only buds, but flowers and fully ripened almonds appeared on Aaron's staff. And this was to demonstrate that he was the sole Levite to represent and have the honor of performing the service unto God. Oh, there's a lot to work with in here, no doubt. But what I feel the need to talk about is not really directly related to the story, but to how the people reacted to the punishment God performed on the rebellion leaders. It seems reasonable to think that they would say something about the miraculous way that God punished these men who rebelled against him. But they didn't do that. They blamed Moses and Aaron for what God did. Despite Moses telling the people over and over, not just here, but throughout the Tanakh, that he and Aaron are nothing other than the spokesmen for God, the people saw them as the cause of these actions. See, and I realize that this is how the Christian world has depicted Yeshua, Jesus, for millennia. Despite how often we read in the Gospels that Yeshua constantly told those he healed that it was their faith that healed them, Christianity has taught that the credit for these miracles belongs to Yeshua himself, even though it is written clearly that Yeshua gave the credit to their faith in God. Yeshua never took credit for the miracles he performed, except possibly one time. In Luke 5:12, there's a man with leprosy. He comes up to Yeshua and says, "Sir, if you are willing, you could heal me." And Yeshua says, "I am willing." He touched and he healed the man. That's about the only time I've ever seen Yeshua even coming close to taking any kind of credit for doing what God empowered him to do. But even then, like I said, Yeshua said not to tell how it was done, but to go to the Kohen to be declared clean in accordance with the instructions in the Torah and to give the required sacrifice. Yeshua didn't take credit. But Christianity gives it all to him. And today, all too often, we do not recognize the true cause of something. This is especially evident and true on a spiritual level. Right? There is a rise in anti-Semitism, and that is a spiritual battle. But the enemy wants us to focus on something other than him. He will do his nastiness all over the world, but through others, because he knows that people do not have the discernment to see the true cause of these events. Just as the Israelites in the desert blame Moses for what God did, the devil will have his representatives seem to wield power, but it will be him behind them. Now, we who understand this must try to make everyone else aware of it, even though we will not be believed by the majority of people. We cannot save the world, only those who are willing to listen to us, but to find them, we must announce the truth to the world. We are looking for the needles in the haystack, and the only way to do that is to go through the entire pile of hay. God has always been the power behind those who have performed miracles in his name, and the son of perdition is the power behind those who rebel against God. The people of the world are nothing more than a physical facade of the underlying spiritual battle between God and those who want to usurp him. They will lose. In fact, they already have. They just don't want to face the truth of it. And their denial will result in their eternal damnation. You and I, we need to make sure that whether it's politics or interpersonal relationships or international agreements, we need to make sure that we look for the true cause of the events that we are witnessing in the world. And remember that those performing these actions are only the conduit for the ones with the real power. Thank you for being here, and please remember to subscribe on the website in the right-hand margin here on YouTube, and click on the Messianic Moment icons. You can subscribe there. Also, please, here's the link to my Ugandan campaign. I will be closing this campaign in just a week or so, and I don't really have more than maybe 1/3 of the money I need. So please, these Ugandans, they're asking for Bibles, Messianic Bibles, prayer shawls, and study guides to help them so that they can become more Torah observant. So please, if you're a Messianic Jew or a believer, or even if you're not, but you want to do something to bless those who want to bless God, please help. Give anything, $5, $10, a couple of thousand, whatever you can afford to do, please. And here's the link again where you can give it. Or go back to the written message and there's a link you can just click on there. Thank you, please. Thank you, and I really appreciate it, and they appreciate it more than anything. Again, I'm just a conduit here trying to do God's work. You can be the power behind this. So I leave it to you. Other than that, we're done for the day. Tonight begins Shabbat, so of course I wish you all Shabbat Shalom, and until next time when we get together, V'hitrot, Baruch Hashem.